Hello, friend, and welcome. If it's your first time here, I want to welcome you to the collective, and to those of you returning, I want to let you know I'm so excited to see you again. And in this reading, we are focusing on what our mental blocks and barriers are, what it is that is keeping us from achieving, what it is that we're trying to achieve, what it is that is keeping us from moving forward. And as always, I am solution oriented, but in order for us to know what the solution is, we need to understand what the underlying problems are. So let's go ahead and ask the cards exactly what it is that is causing us to be in this space where we feel blocked and like we don't have full access to who we are. Because a lot of times the truth is it's one of those things where it's like, ooh, it's always there with us. It's just a matter of us knowing it, recognizing and seeing it, and how we can connect with it. So our first card, literally just got this yesterday. I'm not a fractured being, I'm multifaceted. So this card is a reminder that, yeah, there are multiple sides of you, and that, yeah, you probably feel like you're a lot for people. So whenever I receive this card, it's one of those where I feel like I'm too much for those around me. And it's not that I'm too broken or too different. It's just I'm very multifaceted. There's a lot of me. And my friends and family do love me, and they love all aspects of me. But sometimes I have to remember that, while it's not my job to make myself small, it is my job to pay attention to their boundaries. And I know that, as time moves on, that my friends will either grow to be able to meet my needs better, or if they can't, I will find other people who can meet those needs. And it's one of those things where you have to remember that, yes, you are a person that is very multifaceted. You have a fantastic story, and you have so many different sides of you that make you a whole person, and they do. And right now, the people around you just might not reflect that, even if they love you. And I've had friends where, I've had to maintain stronger boundaries beforehand. And then as they have themselves opened up to themselves and gotten more honest and vulnerable with themselves, they can handle more of who I am. So understand too that this isn't necessarily saying that you have to change your circles, but just give it time and respect yourself and respect others. Our next card, I'll be at the other end of the universe acting strange. So this is one of those things where it's about you being you. I feel like we've been doing a lot of readings about you needing to be you or doing your own thing. And I honestly, it's because I get it. Like, society has so many pressures on us. Your parents, your family, friends, well-intended people are like, hey, here's a box, fit in it, and everything's gonna work. But you weren't meant to be in a box. You were meant to be a star. You were meant to be an octagon. You were meant to be anything but square. So just start being yourself. Start being yourself, and if at the moment it feels a little lonely, that's okay. Because again, people will find you. Like attracts like. You will find your tribe. In order to find your tribe, though, first you have to start being you. Don't spend time on it, spend time in it. This is a big reminder that it's not about how much you think, it's about how much you do. So spending time on it is the thinking thing. That is where you are considering all the options, overthinking maybe, or just planning and over planning, or just daydreaming, because it's easier to do all those things than it is actually to do the thing that we need to do. So right off the bat, I'm getting the fact that we're, really in our heads and not enough within our actions, which happens. I'm guilty of that as myself. This one has small words. Infinite freedom of thoughts is your foundation. Okay. So this card is just really pretty, honestly. I love the waterfall. I love the spiral. Infinite freedom of thoughts is your foundation. So this is saying that what has been working for you, like the thoughts that you're having now, are keeping you at where you're at. Now you need to think outside that box. Now you need to give yourself permission to create a new world. Now you need to consider new ideas and consider new ways of seeing things in order to continue on. Because, well, this card does say that we need to spend time in it. You also need to make sure you have a plan. And that's all that this card is asking for, is for you to have some type of plan. But Is your plan a real plan that's going to work, or is your plan created by the same people that are keeping you in that same square box that are preventing you from actually being who it is that you're meant to be? And I'm going to go ahead and ask the tarot cards. Not necessarily who those people are, but what are the circumstances that are keeping us in this box? Like, why are we so concerned about the box? Yep, I get that. Ooh, okay. The box feels safe and the box feels, known, and it is what it is, but like, the box isn't for us. And they gave us a lot of tarot cards, so this is going to be a minute. So the first thing we have is the Four of Swords in its reverse position. So this is telling me that you have been resting and that you've been allowing yourself to find true rest. But at some point, we need to get out of rehabilitation and we need to start actually working on physical therapy. You need to give yourself the chance to say, okay, I've rested, I've healed enough, but now I have to start integrating myself back into, reality, whatever that is. Dang, we got a lot of cards. All right, we got the King of Cups here. Now, King of Cups is not masculine or feminine, it's divine masculine, and it's about you, again, working through the actions of working through your emotions. Yes, actively working through your emotions, whether that be you taking a walk, whether that be you journaling, whether that be you anger cleaning or stress cleaning, whether that be you weeding your garden. There's a lot of ways that you can actively work out your emotions. But again, it's about you doing it. It's about you having the process and the ability to say, okay, I need to get this out, so I'm going to physically get it out. You can dance, you can do yoga as well. Those are also active ways of working through our emotions. And the reason why it's important to actively physically do it is because as you're physically doing it, your brain understands, oh, things are changing. Then we have our Nine of Wands in its reverse position, the Wounded Warrior card. And this tells me that you've been working at this for a hot minute, that you've been very persistent and that you've been keeping it up. Now it's a time for you to consider what you can do differently, what changes you can make. Look around you and see what resources you already have that can make your life easier. Instead of, again, focusing on the problem, see what the solution is. Then we got the Six of Wands in its upright position. So this is a victory card. We're going to take a pause with the tarot cards and we're going to come back to the rest of them because I'm starting to get a message here and I really want to focus on that message. But with the Six of Wands in its upright position, it's literally telling me that what you're doing is getting you to the place where you need to be. What you're doing is getting you to the place where you're going to be happy, where you're going to find your tribe, where you're going to find your people. But it's all about you actively getting yourself out there, actively putting yourself in a place where you can be seen. So I'll be at the other end of the universe. Acting strange is literally you leaving your comfort zone and being yourself. These cards all tell me that what the plan is. It's just a matter of remembering to continue to think outside that box and then just do the thing. All right, let's see what the second message with all these cards is. How many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more cards. Okay. Eight of Swords. So once again, it's about that getting out of that. Has 100% to do with this card. You know what? We're gonna change this up. We're gonna put this over here because this card has its own message. So Eight of Swords is you being stuck in your brain, and it's you thinking that you are trapped. What you don't realize with this card is you're the one that created this web. You're the one that placed the swords to protect you. And now you're not being protected, you're scared of your own swords. All you gotta do is take the blindfold off, and you can do this. The Two of Wands. Okay, so this is planning and action. This is you actively working on your plans and putting them into place. So not only are you saying, I'm gonna say planning a vacation. Not only are you planning that vacation, but you're actively calling the hotel and making the reservations. You're actively getting the tickets to get you there. You're actively doing things that will ensure that moving forward, progress will be made. The Magician in its upright position. This tells me you already have all the tools and resources that you need in order to move forward. You just have to move forward. You have to actually do the thing. Now the Magician is a major arcana. So this tells me that this is a life thing that you have to do too. That it's not one of those that you're just doing this, one time and, it's one of those where, so what, I did it one time. No, you're doing it one time and it's going to make a huge difference. It's going to change. Things are going to change for you because this Magician's involved. All right, these last 3 cards are their own message. So we'll flip this last card for the foundation card and then we'll move on to the other 3. And then we have the 8 of Coins in its reverse position. I want to remind you that coins are not just about finances. They're about time and energy. Why is that important? Because you spend time and you spend energy. And look at this person. They're tired. They're exhausted. They have put so much time and energy into the thing that they're doing, and they're forgetting why they're doing it. They're feeling burnt out and they're feeling like, the point to this seems kind of ridiculous. Like, why am I doing this over and over again if it's not going to amount to anything? That's why let's move this up. That's why this goes with this foundation card. Because why you're doing it matters. It's, again, allowing yourself to think outside the box. Find other ways to make this into something that feels worthwhile again for you. Something that's worth it. You need to allow yourself to have that infinite freedom of thoughts and realize that your barriers and your blocks really are just you being in a place of transition and needing to do the thing, but also just to get out of your own way. All right, last 3 cards. Got the Page of Cups. We're going to read them all together. Got Temperance in its reverse position and the 3 of Cups. Okay. So, let's see if I can do this. Okay. Page of Cups is you being new. You experiencing things in a new way, in a new emotional way. Temperance is about applying knowledge once again. So the message I like to give with Temperance is, if you're a nursing student, you can learn all that you need to know about the body, disease, and everything. None of that actually matters until you apply it to a patient. Now, when Temperance is in its reverse position, you are applying that knowledge, and I'm proud of you for that. But you're getting really frustrated that things aren't working out the way that they should in the book. Another classic example is like you're making a cheesecake, okay? You can find 1,000,001 recipes about making a cheesecake. You can find 1,000,001 ways how not to get that crack in the center. But until you actually apply any of that information and try it yourself, you're either going to get a crack or you're not going to get a crack. If you're me, your cheesecake cracks every freaking time, no matter what you do differently, and I just do my best to learn and see what I can do differently from the last time, what works and what hasn't. Because failing is not a bad thing. It just means that you attempted and that you need to pivot and try again. There's a lot more lessons that you need to learn in that failing, which is why you're going through this new experience, this new emotional experiences, and learning how to navigate it. But here's the thing, this 3 of Cups is all about celebration. You need to celebrate all those wins that you get. They might be small. They might just be that, yes, for the first time ever, something clicked into place. Yes, for the first time ever, something actually got done on the time it was supposed to get done. Yes, for the first time ever, I actually met a deadline. And that's okay, but we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate because it's the celebration that is going to keep moving you forward. I'm going to put that there. All right. Now we're just going to ask the cards because they threw a lot at us. Like, holy snap, the amount of tarot cards that they threw at us. But there was a lot to go with this message. The mental barrier is a lot more than what we thought it was, and it's a lot more on us in this reading. So now I literally was asking the cards what it is that we can just do to find the strength that we need in order to think outside the box, in order to spend time in what we're doing and allow ourselves to celebrate and do it in a way where we are being resourceful and we're going towards that victory. So become your own muse, be your own inspiration. I know that that's easier said than done, but you know what that means? It means just get out there and do the thing. Because a lot of times, and this is coming from someone who has to create her own stuff, You don't feel inspired until after you start doing whatever it is. And I'm not the only one who knows or says this. Like, there's a lot of people who, like, you look up quotes on a bit of inspiration, they tell you to do the thing first and then you get inspired. So be your own muse, be your own inspiration, find blah, blah, blah. Find inspiration in what it is that you're doing, because you're doing it. Trust your instincts to guide you towards your truth. Again, this is about getting outside of that headspace, getting outside of that cage, allowing yourself to have that infinite freedom of thought, and just give yourself the ability to just be who you are, to go to the other side of the universe and to act strange. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. What you want may be closer than what you think. That's what these cards are saying right here. Get yourself out there, start doing the thing, look at the resources that you have, and allow yourself to win. That Six of Wands is a victory card. There's no way around it. It is a victory card. Celebrate all the things that have gotten you to this point. Celebrate all the small steps, because what you're going for is right there. It's just a matter of honestly believing it and seeing it. Since we're so trapped in our mind, I just want to end this reading on just a few affirmations that can help us break this cage, that can help us believe in that infinite freedom of thoughts that we have and what it is that makes us who we are, that can inspire us to be our own muse. Okay. I am strong enough. You got this. You don't need to be in rehab anymore. You need to start doing the thing. That's exactly what that Four of Swords is talking about in its reverse position. My body is healing. My body is healthy. Woof. So again, that is another reminder, again, that you have this, that you don't need to be in a reflective state anymore. You don't need to rest anymore. You need to get out and you need to start doing. I believe in my ability to change the world with the work that I do. I mean, I feel like we're just beating a dead horse here. Like, I feel like that's all we're talking about is the fact that you have everything you need in order to do it. So let's do it. I choose to say no when I need to. So that right there is that you need to say no to yourself, or that you need to say no to others. This card, I think, is the key that you need in order to break free of all this that's going on inside of you. I think this is the final piece that you've been looking for in order for you to understand what it is that you need in order to finally do you, in order to finally be you, in order to finally find strength and comfort in who you are as a person. You just need to say no to the things that aren't you, that don't resonate with you, that aren't good for you. Let's push that up so you can see it. So this is your reading, and I really thank you so much for being part of the collective today. If you want advice or help on how to break free out of this mental web that is keeping you stuck, go ahead and ask in the comments below. We have a community. The community is great at helping one another. I will also do my best to answer your questions. If you want more specific information about how to break free, there is a link in the description below for private readings. That is all I have for you today. I just also want to remind you that you are never walking this path alone. There are a bunch of us, and we're here to help you, and I cannot wait to see you again. That's all I have for you today. Bye-bye.